In the earliest days of the world, before humans walked the earth, the gods governed all creation. The great gods lived in peace and luxury, ruling over the heavens, the earth, and the waters below. Among these gods were the powerful Anu, who ruled the heavens, Enlil, the god of the earth, and Enki, also known as Ea, the god of wisdom and the deep waters. Beneath them were the lesser gods, the Igigi, who toiled under the harsh conditions of the earth to provide for the higher gods. These lesser gods were responsible for maintaining the world, ensuring that rivers flowed, crops grew, and mountains stood tall. For many long years, the Igigi labored tirelessly, digging the canals and trenches that nourished the lands. They carried out all the burdensome tasks that sustained the world, from tending the soil to ensuring the heavens operated smoothly. The work was grueling, and the Igigi began to grow weary of their endless toil. Their suffering increased with each passing year until they could no longer bear the harsh labor. Finally, after centuries of hardship, they reached their breaking point. The Igigi, exhausted and enraged, rose up in rebellion against the higher gods. They abandoned their work and marched as one to the gates of Enlil's temple, brandishing their tools like weapons. They cried out in fury, demanding relief from their ceaseless toil. They threatened to tear down the order of the universe unless something was done to alleviate their suffering. The rebellion of the Igigi sent shockwaves through the heavens, and the great gods knew they had to act quickly to prevent chaos from overwhelming creation. Anu, the ruler of the heavens, called an emergency council of the gods. Enlil, the lord of the earth, attended the meeting, as did Enki, the god of wisdom and fresh water, and the other high gods. The gods debated how to respond to the rebellion of the Igigi. Enlil, who oversaw the workings of the earth, was furious at the rebellion. He wanted to punish the Igigi for their insubordination, but the other gods understood that the lesser gods' suffering was too great to ignore. They could not simply force them back into their labor without a solution. Enki, the wise and compassionate god, proposed an alternative. He suggested that they create a new being, humans, who would take on the burden of the Igigi's labor. These humans would be made from the earth itself, mixed with divine essence, and they would serve the gods by working the land, tending to the animals, and ensuring the world functioned as it should. In exchange for their labor, the humans would receive the gifts of life, food, and the protection of the gods. This solution would allow the Igigi to be freed from their burdens while ensuring the world continued to prosper. The gods agreed to Enki's plan, and so Enki, together with the goddess Nintu, also known as Mami, the goddess of birth and creation, set about crafting the first humans. Nintu, with her sacred knowledge of life and fertility, mixed clay from the earth with the blood of a slain god, a rebellious deity who had defied the will of the higher gods. From this divine mixture, she shaped the first human beings. These humans were fragile and mortal, but they were also intelligent and capable of carrying out the work that had once been the responsibility of the gods. With the creation of humanity, the Igigi were freed from their labor and returned to the heavens. The new humans spread across the earth, building cities, farming the land, and worshipping the gods who had given them life. For a time, peace reigned among the gods, and the humans fulfilled their role as laborers and servants. They built temples to honor the gods, offered sacrifices, and carried out the tasks necessary to maintain the balance of the world. However, as the human population grew, so too did their demands on the earth. They multiplied rapidly, filling the cities and spreading across the land. Their numbers became vast, and with their growing population came noise. The constant clamor of human activity, the sounds of building, farming, and living began to disturb the peace of the gods. The noise rose up to the heavens, disrupting the rest of the gods and drawing the attention of Enlil, who had become increasingly frustrated with the humans. Enlil, who had once been willing to tolerate the humans, grew angry at their ceaseless noise and their endless demands on the earth. The humans had become too numerous and too loud, and Enlil feared that their presence would eventually threaten the very order of creation. He decided that drastic action was necessary to restore balance to the world. He resolved to reduce the human population and return peace to the earth. In his anger, Enlil devised a plan to wipe out humanity. He unleashed a series of devastating catastrophes upon the earth. First, he sent a plague to sweep through the cities, decimating the population. Thousands of humans perished, but the survivors persisted, continuing their work and their worship. Next, Enlil caused a great drought to descend upon the land. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and famine spread throughout the world. Still, humanity endured, finding ways to survive despite the harsh conditions. Frustrated by the resilience of the humans, Enlil decided to unleash his most devastating weapon, a great flood that would cover the earth and drown all living things. The flood would wipe out humanity completely, leaving the earth to be ruled by the gods alone. Enlil gathered the other gods and convinced them to support his plan. Reluctantly, they agreed, though some, including Enki, felt sorrow at the destruction that was to come. Enki, who had helped create humanity, could not bear the thought of seeing them all destroyed. He knew that the flood was inevitable, but he resolved to find a way to save at least some of the humans. In secret, he visited Atrahasis, a wise and pious man who had always been faithful to the gods. Atrahasis was known for his devotion, and Enki had long admired him for his righteousness. Appearing to Atrahasis in a dream, Enki revealed the terrible fate that awaited humanity. He told him that the gods had decided to send a great flood to destroy all life on Earth. But Enki also gave him a chance to survive. He instructed Atrahasis to build a large boat, a vessel strong enough to withstand the raging waters of the flood. Enki gave him detailed instructions on how to construct the boat, specifying its dimensions, the materials to be used, and how it should be sealed with pitch to make it waterproof. Enki also told Atrahasis to gather his family and animals of every kind, 2 of each species, and bring them aboard the boat. These creatures would repopulate the earth after the flood had subsided. Atrahasis, trusting in Enki's wisdom, immediately began the monumental task of building the boat. He worked tirelessly, gathering wood and supplies, all while keeping his task a secret from the other humans who were unaware of the impending disaster. When the boat was completed, Atrahasis loaded his family and the animals onto the vessel, just as Enki had instructed. The sky grew dark and the winds began to howl. Then the floodwaters came. Torrential rains poured from the heavens, and the rivers and seas rose up in a mighty surge. The waters covered the earth, drowning cities, forests, and mountains alike. The flood was relentless, and for 7 days and 7 nights, it raged across the land, wiping out all life in its path. Inside the boat, Atrahasis and his family huddled together, listening to the roar of the storm outside. The animals too were restless, but the boat held strong, keeping them safe from the wrath of the flood. Finally, After many days, the rains began to subside and the waters slowly receded. The earth was left desolate, with no signs of life remaining. When the boat came to rest on a mountaintop, Atrahasis stepped out onto dry land. The world was silent and still, the devastation of the flood evident all around him. But he had survived, and with him, the seeds of life that would once again fill the earth. Grateful for his deliverance, he offered a sacrifice to the gods, burning incense and offering thanks for their mercy. The scent of the sacrifice rose to the heavens, and the gods who had been watching from above were moved by the devotion of Atrahasis. Even Enlil, who had orchestrated the destruction, softened when he saw the righteous man's gratitude. The gods realized that their punishment had been too severe and that life on earth must be restored. Enlil, despite his earlier anger, acknowledged that humanity should continue to exist, but with a new balance. He promised that the gods would never again send such a flood to destroy all life. Instead, they would seek to control the population through more moderate means, such as disease and famine, ensuring that humanity would never grow too numerous or disruptive again. Enki, who had saved Atrahasis, was pleased with this outcome. He had preserved life, and now the earth could be renewed. Atrahasis and his descendants went on to repopulate the world, and the animals spread out to fill the land once more. The gods returned to their place in the heavens, watching over humanity from afar, but always remembering the lesson of the flood, that even the gods must respect the fragility of life. The story of Atrahasis and the Great Flood became a legend passed down through the generations, a reminder of both the wrath and the mercy of the gods. It spoke of the delicate balance between the divine and the mortal, of the responsibilities that humans held as caretakers of the earth, and of the ever-present threat of destruction should they fall out of favor with the gods. Yet it also told of hope and survival, of the power of wisdom, and of the strength of faith in the face of overwhelming disaster. And so, Atrahasis lived on in the memory of mankind, a symbol of resilience, obedience, and the enduring bond between humanity and the gods who had shaped them. The floodwaters had receded, but the lessons of the flood remained, etched into the hearts of all who heard the tale, forever linking the fate of the earth to the will of the gods.